It's funny, isn't it? How people promise forever and then disappear when you need them the most. They swear loyalty, speak of love, but when the storm hits, they're the first ones to abandon the ship. They leave you clinging to the wreckage, wondering what went wrong. But here's the thing, they didn't forget you because of something you did. They forgot you because that's who they are. You see, life has a way of separating the real from the fake. The storms come to show you who's truly standing beside you and who's only pretending. It's painful, isn't it? Watching someone you cared for, someone you trusted, walk away as if you never mattered. It leaves a hole, a gaping void in your chest. But maybe, just maybe, that void is necessary. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't pause to console you. It keeps spinning, keeps moving, dragging you along whether you're ready or not. So why should you hold on to someone who's already let go of you? Why should you waste another tear, another thought, another moment on someone who couldn't even stay? Forget them. Forget the ones who forgot you. Forget the ones who looked at your scars and decided they couldn't handle them. Forget the ones who promised to stay, but disappeared at the first sign of trouble. Forget the ones who only loved the easy parts of you and ran away when the darkness showed. Painful, isn't it? Letting go of someone who meant the world to you. But here's a little secret, holding on to someone who doesn't care is even worse. It's like drinking poison and expecting them to feel the pain. It's madness. And madness, well, that's something I know all too well. The truth is, people will come and go. They'll leave, they'll betray, they'll forget. And you'll stand there heartbroken, wondering why. But don't waste your energy searching for answers. Don't waste your time trying to fix what's already broken. Because not everyone is meant to stay. Some people are lessons. Painful, gut-wrenching lessons that shape you into who you're meant to be. So let them go. Let them walk away. Let them forget. And as they do, make sure you remember one thing: you don't need them. You never did. They were chapters in your story, not the whole damn book. They were stepping stones, not the destination. Start focusing on yourself. Start building a life so powerful, so unshakable, that their absence feels like nothing more than a passing breeze. Forget who forgets you and instead remember who you are. You're not the person they left behind. You're the person who survived. You're the person who picked up the pieces, who rebuilt, who rose from the ashes. And that's power. That's strength. That's something they'll never understand. While they're busy forgetting you, you're busy becoming unstoppable. But here's the kicker: they'll remember you. Oh yes, they will. One day, when the dust has settled, when their world feels a little emptier, they'll think back to you. They'll remember the way you cared, the way you stood by them, the way you gave them everything. And they'll realize what they lost. But by then, it'll be too late. By then, you'll have moved on. You'll have grown, transformed, become something so much greater than they ever imagined. You'll be a force of nature, untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. So laugh, my friend. Laugh at their betrayal, at their forgetfulness, at their inability to see your worth. Because you know the truth now. You know that their absence is a blessing. You know that their betrayal was a gift, a painful, brutal gift that set you free. Forget who forgets you. But never ever forget yourself. Never forget your strength, your resilience, your power. Never forget that you are so much more than the people who left. You're a storm, a wildfire, a force to be reckoned with. And as you move forward, as you rise above, you'll start to see the beauty in the pain. You'll start to see that every wound, every scar, every heartbreak was a part of your evolution. They didn't break you. They built you. So keep going. Keep rising. Keep proving to yourself that you don't need anyone's approval, anyone's love, anyone's loyalty to thrive. You are your own savior. You are your own hero. You are enough. And the next time someone forgets you, the next time someone walks away, don't let it break you. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you of your power, your worth, your strength. Because at the end of the day, the only person who truly matters is you. The only loyalty you need is your own. The only love you need is the one you give yourself. Forget who forgets you. Let them go and watch how high you can rise without their weight pulling you down. Watch how bright you can shine without their shadow dimming your light. Watch how powerful you can become when you finally truly let go. And when they look back, when they see the empire you've built, when they realize what they lost, don't let them back in. Don't give them the satisfaction. Smile. Laugh. Move on. Because you've already won. You've already won because you chose yourself. You chose to walk away from the people who didn't see your worth. You chose to build your own path, brick by brick, with the strength that came from every tear, every heartache, every betrayal. You chose to rise, even when it felt like the weight of the world was crushing you. That's victory. That's freedom. And as you stand tall, unshaken by their absence, you'll realize something profound. Forgetting them isn't about revenge, it's about release. It's about breaking free from the chains they tried to wrap around you. It's about stepping into your own power and owning every inch of it. You're not bound by their choices anymore. You're not defined by their inability to stay. Their absence is their loss, not yours. You've become something they can't touch, something they can't reach, a phoenix reborn from the ashes of their betrayal. They may have thought they broke you, but in reality, they ignited a fire within you that refuses to be extinguished. So here's the truth: people will always leave. Some will leave because they're weak. Some will leave because they're afraid of your strength. And some will leave because they were never meant to stay. But that doesn't mean you stop moving forward. That doesn't mean you stop growing. If anything, their departure should push you harder, fuel you further, make you even more determined to prove that you don't need anyone's validation to thrive. You are your own validation. Your scars are proof of your survival. Your resilience is proof of your power. And your journey is proof that no one, not a single soul, can keep you down. Forget who forgets you, but remember every lesson they taught you. Remember the strength you found in their absence, the clarity you gained from their betrayal, and the fire that now burns brighter than ever before. Because the truth is, you never needed them. They were just a distraction, a temporary chapter in your story. And now, as you turn the page, you step into a new chapter, one where you are the hero, the warrior, the unstoppable force. They're nothing more than a faded memory, a whisper in the wind, a lesson learned. So let them fade. Let them drift away into the background where they belong. And as they disappear, you'll start to see the world in a new light. You'll start to feel the power of your own presence, your own strength, your own worth. You'll start to realize that you are enough, more than enough. You always have been. Forget who forgets you. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Out of love for the person you're becoming. Out of a deep, unshakable understanding that you deserve better. And as you move forward, as you continue to rise, remember this: the people who truly matter will never forget you. The people who truly see you, who truly value you, will never let you go. And you'll never forget yourself again. You'll never let anyone make you feel small, insignificant, or unworthy. Because you've seen the truth now. You've faced the pain, the heartbreak, the betrayal, and you've come out stronger, wiser, more powerful than ever. You are the storm. You are the fire. You are the force they never saw coming. And as you walk away from their shadows, you step into your own light, a light so bright, so fierce, that it blinds anyone who tries to dim it. So keep walking. Keep rising. Keep proving to yourself every single day that you are unstoppable. Forget who forgets you, and watch how the world bends to your will. Watch how the universe aligns in your favor. Watch how your strength inspires others to find their own. Because this is your story, and no one gets to write it but you. And now, as you walk through this life with purpose, understand this: you owe no one an explanation. Not for your pain, not for your choices, and certainly not for your rise. People will question you. They'll doubt you. They'll whisper behind your back, trying to make sense of how you're still standing, how you've become untouchable despite everything they threw your way. Let them wonder. Let them choke on their doubts. You see, forgetting who forgets you isn't just about letting go. It's about reclaiming your energy. It's about no longer pouring yourself into empty vessels. It's about standing in your own truth and realizing that you are whole on your own. You spent too much time trying to fix broken connections, too much time chasing people who only ever showed you their backs. No more. That version of you is gone, dead, buried, The new you? Oh, the new you walks with power. You walk into rooms and your presence speaks before you do. People feel your energy, they can't ignore it. They can't look away. You're no longer the person begging for scraps of attention or approval. You're the one who decides. You're the one who chooses. And the people who forgot you? They can only watch as you soar higher than they ever imagined. Here's the thing about rising alone, it's the ultimate revenge. Not against them, but against the version of yourself that once believed you couldn't. It's the proof that you were never broken, just bent. And now, as you stand taller, stronger, more defiant than ever, you embody the truth they were too blind to see. You are always enough. You don't need their recognition. You don't need their applause. You don't need their validation. Why? Because you've learned to clap for yourself. You've learned to love yourself. And in doing so, you've unlocked a power that most people can only dream of. A power that comes from within. A power that no one can take from you. So when you think of the ones who left, the ones who turned their backs, remember this: they weren't meant to walk this path with you. Their departure wasn't your loss, it was your liberation. It was the universe clearing space for something greater. For people who see you, who value you, who stand beside you without question. And as you move forward, don't just walk, run. Run toward the life you deserve. Run toward your goals, your dreams, your passions. Leave the past where it belongs and never look back. Because the moment you stop looking back is the moment you start living. Truly living. The world doesn't wait for anyone, and neither should you. Keep moving, keep fighting, keep rising. Forget who forgets you, because the only person you'll ever need is staring back at you in the mirror. And that person? That person is a force to be reckoned with, a legend in the making, a masterpiece carved out of pain and perseverance. So go, write your story, build your empire, and let them hate, let them envy, let them sit in the shadows of your light, because you're not just surviving anymore, you're thriving. And there's no greater revenge than that. You see, thriving is the ultimate act of defiance. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about taking every scar, every wound, every tear, and building something extraordinary from the rubble they left behind. The truth is, they never thought you'd make it. They counted on your silence. They expected your collapse, but instead you stood up. And not just stood, you rose like fire. The beauty of being forgotten is that it frees you. It's a clean slate. A chance to rewrite your story without the weight of their expectations, their opinions, or their judgments. You're no longer tethered to their narrative. You've broken the chains, and now you can soar higher, faster, and with more purpose than ever before. You owe it to yourself to make this life yours, unapologetically and fiercely. And when they see you thriving, when they see the life you've built, the fire in your eyes, and the strength in your steps, they'll realize they were never a part of your story, they were just a chapter you had to close. Their absence is no longer a wound. It's a reminder of how far you've come without them. It's a symbol of your resilience, your power, your ability to turn loss into liberation. So don't waste another moment thinking about who left or why. Don't waste your energy trying to understand their reasons or mend bridges that were never meant to hold your weight. Instead, focus on the ones who stayed. Focus on the person who never left, you. Focus on building a life so full of meaning, so rich in purpose, that even your silence speaks louder than their words ever could. And as you stand at the edge of this new chapter, remember this: the pain of being forgotten isn't your end. It's your beginning. It's the fire that fuels you, the storm that shapes you, the shadow that teaches you to find your own light. You've walked through the darkness, and now it's time to own the light. Not theirs, yours. So go ahead, embrace it. Let them fade into the background as you take center stage. Let their absence become the echo that fuels your roar. Because you're not just here to exist, you're here to dominate, to conquer, to rise. And the greatest part, you're doing it on your own terms. For yourself, by yourself. And there's nothing more powerful than that. And as you step forward, leaving behind the ghosts of those who once mattered, remember that every step you take is a statement, a declaration. That you are no longer defined by who left, but by who stayed. And who stayed, you did. You stood tall when the ground crumbled beneath you. You held on when the winds of doubt tried to tear you apart. You became your own anchor, your own refuge, your own sanctuary. Their absence, it's not your burden, it's your liberation. It's the space you needed to breathe, to grow, to thrive. It's the silence that allowed you to hear your own voice, the void that pushed you to fill it with your strength, your power, your vision. They thought they broke you by leaving, but they don't realize they freed you. The world is harsh, cold, and unkind, but you've learned to thrive in it. You've learned that every bruise, every scar, every tear is a badge of honor, a reminder of the battles you've fought and the victories you've claimed. You've learned to walk alone, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. And now you wear your solitude like armor. It doesn't weigh you down, it makes you invincible. Forget who forgets you, because they're not part of your story anymore. Your story is one of resilience, of power, of transformation. It's a story of someone who didn't just survive but thrived. They may have forgotten you, but you've never been more unforgettable. And that's the irony, isn't it? They left, thinking you'd fade, but you've only become brighter, stronger, and more undeniable. So, stand tall. Walk forward. Leave the past in the ashes, where it belongs, and let the fire of your journey light the way, because the future isn't waiting for anyone, and neither should you. You're here to carve your own path, to leave your own mark, to build a legacy so powerful that even the ones who left will hear of it, not that it matters. By then, you'll be so far ahead, they'll be nothing more than a distant memory. And as you move forward, take pride in the journey you're building, not for them, not for their approval, but for you. Because when you walk this path, it's no longer about proving them wrong or seeking vengeance. It's about proving yourself right. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing someone who refused to crumble, who refused to be silenced, who refused to let the past dictate their future. Do you feel that fire? That's the spark they couldn't extinguish. That's the hunger they underestimated. It's the same force that's been burning inside you all along, waiting to erupt. Let it fuel you. Let it drive you. Let it remind you that every setback, every betrayal, every abandonment was a step closer to this version of yourself, the version who doesn't need anyone's validation to exist, to thrive, to conquer. Forget who forgets you, because you were never meant to fit their mold. You were never meant to be their afterthought or their convenience. You're a force of nature, wild and untamed. They feared that. They couldn't handle it. So they left, hoping to dim your light. But instead, you shined brighter. You became everything they weren't ready for, everything they couldn't understand. And as the days turn to nights and the seasons change, you'll see the beauty in walking alone. You'll realize the strength it takes to stand tall when the world tries to tear you down. You'll become your own compass, your own guide, your own hero. And when you look back, it won't be with longing or regret. It will be with gratitude. Gratitude for the pain that sharpened you, for the emptiness that made room for something greater, for the silence that allowed you to hear your own heartbeat. Because in the end, it's not about who stayed or who left. It's about who you became through it all. And you became unstoppable. You became unforgettable. You became everything they never saw coming. So keep walking, keep rising, keep building your kingdom. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them regret. But you'll just keep moving forward, fearless, relentless, and unapologetically you. And as the world keeps spinning, you'll come to see something they never will. The true strength lies in letting go of the weight of their expectations, their judgments, their absence. Letting go of the idea that you need them to complete you. You don't. You never did. You are your own force, your own storm, your own masterpiece. And the beauty of it, you've created all this from the ruins they left behind. You've learned to embrace the cracks, the scars, the imperfections. They don't weaken you, they define you. They tell a story that no one else could ever tell. They speak of resilience, of survival, of a soul that refused to bow down to the chaos around it. And as you walk forward, you carry those scars proudly like armor. Because they don't make you less, they make you more. More aware, more powerful, more alive. And when they see you again, they'll see. They'll see someone they barely recognize, someone they once underestimated, someone they once dismissed. But by then, it won't matter. Their opinions, their regrets, their realizations, it will all mean nothing to you. Because you've risen so far above their reach, their words are mere whispers, lost in the wind. This is your time now. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. To stand tall, unshaken, and own your space in this world. You've built a life they can't touch. a strength they can't match, and a soul they can't break. And every step forward, every new chapter, every moment you live without looking back, that's your victory. That's your triumph. So keep walking, keep rising, keep forgetting those who forgot you, because the future is yours and nothing, absolutely nothing, can take it from you. They forgot you, didn't they? Left you in the shadows while they danced in the light. But what they didn't realize, what they never saw, is that shadows aren't a place of weakness, they're where the strongest rise. You've spent your time there, in the quiet, in the dark, building something they'll never understand. Something unshakable, something untouchable, you. You see, forgetting is easy for them. It costs them nothing. But for you, it's a lesson. Every time they turned their back, every time they chose someone else, every time they left you out in the cold, they handed you a piece of your own power. Because the pain didn't destroy you, it transformed you. It stripped away the illusions, the lies, the falsehoods, leaving only the raw, undeniable truth of who you are. And now, as you step into your own light, you owe them nothing. Not a glance, not an explanation, not an ounce of your energy. Because you've learned the secret, haven't you? The people who truly matter, they don't forget you. They don't walk away when things get tough. They don't let you sink while they swim. So for those who did, let them go. Let them drift into the abyss of their own choices. Your path is clear now, uncluttered, free from the weight of those who never truly saw you. And in that freedom, you find yourself. You find strength in solitude, beauty in the silence, and power in every step you take forward. They might never understand what you've become, but that's the point. You didn't grow for them, you grew for you. So walk away. Walk away from the memories that cling to you like chains, from the voices that whispered doubt when you needed hope, from the hands that pushed you down when you reached for help. Walk away, not in anger, but in liberation. Let their absence be your fuel, not your wound. Let it remind you that you are always enough, always more than enough. They may watch you from afar now, confused, perhaps even envious. They'll wonder how you did it, how you turned the pain of being forgotten into the fire that lights your path. But let them wonder. Let them stay in the shadows of their own making. Your journey isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. About becoming the person you were always meant to be, the one who doesn't need their approval, their validation, or their presence. Because the truth is, you're no longer chasing after people who forget you. You're no longer standing in the rain, hoping for someone to notice your struggle. No, now you create your own storms, your own thunder, your own lightning. You become the force they can't ignore, the one they can't forget, not because you want them to remember, but because you've made your mark on the world. So let them go. Forget the ones who forgot you. Burn the bridges that only ever led to nowhere. Stand tall on the ashes and let the wind carry their memories far, far away. You are not their afterthought. You are not their backup plan. You are the storm, the fire, the unbreakable force that rises again and again, no matter who chooses to walk away. And when they look at you, when they stare in disbelief at your rise, remember this: their confusion isn't your problem. It's their prison. They'll never understand how you turned pain into power, how you transformed abandonment into an armor that shields you from the world's attempts to break you. Let them question. Let them doubt, because in the end, their questions will remain unanswered, and their doubts will fade like smoke in the wind. You've crossed that threshold. You've passed through the fire. And now you stand on the other side, scarred but stronger, wiser, unstoppable. The people who turned their backs on you, they thought you would wither. They thought you'd stay small, stay silent, stay invisible. But here you are, rising, flourishing in the space they made when they left you behind. So, don't go looking for validation. Don't seek the approval of those who couldn't see your worth when it mattered most. You've learned the hardest lesson. The only validation you need is your own. The only approval that matters is the one you give yourself every day, with every step forward. You are the creator of your own story now. No one else gets to write your ending. And as you look ahead, don't fear the unknown. Don't fear what's next. Because you've already faced the worst. You've already been forgotten, discarded, abandoned, and yet you stand here, stronger than ever. You are not defined by the people who left you. You are defined by what you've become without them. You are more than the sum of their judgments, their rejections, their silence. You are the proof that you don't need anyone to validate your worth. You are your own validation. your own reason for moving forward. And the world? The world will either catch up or it will be left in the dust, because you're not waiting for anyone anymore. You're not asking for permission. You're not looking for anyone to recognize your journey. You are already on it, and you will keep moving one step at a time until the world has no choice but to look at you and see what you've always known. You are everything. You always have been. You see, the world isn't waiting for you to ask for its acceptance. It doesn't care about your past or the wounds that have shaped you. It only cares about what you do next. And if you're still waiting for someone to come and tell you that it's okay, that you're allowed to be who you are, stop. The permission you seek was never theirs to give. It's always been yours. Forget who forgot you, because they were never the ones meant to carry you. You were meant to carry yourself, with all your scars, all your flaws, all your imperfections. They thought they could break you. But what they failed to understand is that pain doesn't break you, it builds you. It doesn't crush you. It hones you. It's the forge that shapes you into something unrecognizable to those who turned away. So when you face the world next, when you step out from the shadows of the past, hold your head up high. Don't look back at the people who left you behind. They can't see the warrior you've become. Their view is clouded by their own limitations, their own insecurities. Let them stay there, lost in the fog of their own self-doubt, while you march forward, carrying the weight of everything they said you couldn't do. You're not just surviving anymore. You're thriving. You're not just holding on, you're taking what's yours. Every step, every move, every decision, it's all a testament to what you've overcome, to the fire that's burned inside you all along. And when you rise, when you walk through this world unafraid, those who abandoned you will look back in awe, not because they want you to come back, but because they'll realize too late that they could never touch the person you've become. Don't let their judgment hold you back. Don't let their absence slow you down. They didn't see your worth, and that's their loss. Your journey isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you are always worthy, always strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet. It's about showing the world that you don't need validation, because you have something more powerful: self-respect. Keep walking. Keep moving forward. Let them wonder. Let them doubt. Let them remain stuck in their own delusions while you blaze your own trail. You're not defined by the people who left. You are defined by the strength it took to stand up, to walk away, and to keep going. You are defined by your ability to rise, to take the pain and turn it into something unstoppable. The world will change. People will come and go. But the one constant, the one truth that remains, is that you are all you need. You are the force that moves you. You are the reason for your own existence. And those who forget you, they'll regret it. Not because they should have stayed, but because they missed the chance to witness the legend you were always meant to become. So forget who forgets you, and rise. Rise above the noise. Rise above the doubters. Rise above those who never saw you for who you really were. Rise and show them all that they can never take away what was always yours to begin with.